Hello everyone, it's Christine Ludwig from Christine Stamping Spot. Welcome to my Mystery Monday video today for Monday, March the 23rd. Our last, well, not quite. We have a little more than a week to go, I think, till the end of the month. So yes, everyone's, looking forward to spring, looking forward to Easter coming up in a couple weeks. So lots to look forward to, right? Okay, so today we are going to take a look at this lovely arrangements bundle and actually the lovely Blossom suite in general, and the bundle is part of that suite. So I just want to quickly show you some of the pieces that are included in this suite of products. So this is actually part of our January 26 online exclusive. So if you're looking for it, you can just go under the shop products button on the website, and there's a tab for online exclusives, and it will bring all of them up. So you may have to scroll a bit, or you can just search for the name as well. I think this might currently be unavailable, but I believe it is still coming back, so don't panic. Okay, so as far as the suite goes, it includes this bundle. So you have the stamp set, and it's got some really cute greetings in it and a couple of images that you can stamp, and then these dies. Okay, so here's a look at them. So you've got this really neat one that cuts out. This one, it doesn't cut out the square, it just cuts out these little sort of blossom images from your cardstock. So you could just reposition it to make your own little background. And then you have some dies that cut out the flowers, that cut out the leaves, just a couple standalone dies for the leaves. And then these two dies that will cut out your greetings. So this one would cut out some of the larger ones, and this narrow one would cut out the narrow ones. Okay, so a really, really nice bundle all by itself. And then we have part of it also of the suite is this lovely stripes embossing folder, which I believe I've used on a few projects as well. So you get some really nice stripes with a few dots to kind of accent that there. So it is a 3D folder, even though it doesn't say it on here. It is quite thick. So you'll want to use it with your embossing plate, or the larger gray plate, or blue if you have one of the older die cutting machines. So that's part of the suite. And then you get these really fun embellishments. So these are Moody Palette glossy dots, and I know I have used these on other projects. So you get some white, cloud cover, old olive, and secret sea. These are awesome. Self-adhesive, but they're also nice and flat, and they have a little bit of a shine, like a glossy finish to them. So those are really beautiful and coordinate very nice together. There's also some ribbon, which I do not have. It's a cloud cover, and it's a little bit wider. I think it's about 5/8 of an inch. So that is very beautiful. Excuse me. And then our designer paper. So this is a little bit different configuration than our normal paper. So this has also 12 sheets. So 12 sheets of 12 by 12. But instead of two of each pattern, you get 3 of each pattern. So it kind of stretches a little bit further. Okay, so I'm just going to show you these patterns. So let's start at the back. So you have these beautiful cloud cover stripes. And then you have some old olive, kind of a linen feel or look to it. You have these diamonds here out of the Secret Sea. And then you have these little sort of little flowers like were on that die. This is petal pink, I believe. And then when you flip it over, this is the other side. So you get 3 sheets of this, which is very lovely. We're actually going to use this today. You get these little posies with crumb cake and some basic white. And this is really lovely too, the little posies here. So you've got the cloud cover in the back, your old olive and your basic white with your Secret Sea centers. And then this sheet, okay, you get 3 of these also, and these do all the work for you. They are basically your layers on top of your card. So you have your focal point already there. So this would be a standard card. These ones are a little bit smaller, but you could still incorporate them into your design. And then you've got the little squares here. And the back of this is that cloud cover stripe. Okay, so these are very neat, these cutouts. I have seen a lot of samples just using these, and I thought, how did they do that? What stamp set is that? Until I realized it was the designer paper. So very, very lovely. And we've had that sort of idea with a number of different designer papers. Okay, so I'm going to show you a technique today called the stack, cut, and shuffle technique. Ooh, so this is what we're going to make. We are going to make 3 cards all at once, depending on how we cut our designer paper. Okay, I've got a frog in my throat, excuse me. So I've picked out 3 patterns of designer paper, and I'll show you how we're going to cut these and how we're going to assemble them to give the same design but a different look depending on where the designer paper is positioned. Okay, all right, so this one, these samples I did with a basic white card base, but I think I'm going to switch it up a bit, and I'm going to use Secret Sea. So you're going to need 3 pieces of the 8.5 by 5.5 cut in half. So you're going to need 8.5 by 5.5. Yes, you'll need 3 of those scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so let's just do this first and set these aside. I thought, you know, let's try to pull out one of the colors and use it as our base. And we're going to compare after. And you guys can let me know which one you prefer. Of course, you know I love Secret Sea. It's one of my absolute favorites. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And then we are going to cut our designer paper. So you're going to select 3 pieces, or if you don't want 3, you can select 2 plus 1 piece of cardstock, maybe just a basic white, because there's white in the paper, and on that piece you could just stamp your greeting. Okay, I decided to go with 3 of the designer series paper, and these are the patterns that I want to show facing up. Okay, so these are cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and I will post these measurements on the post, so don't worry about that unless you want to write some notes. Okay, so you're going to stack these together. All right, so you're going to have the 4-inch side at the top, 5 1/4 on the side. And you're going to start with this top corner. Okay, you just want to make sure these are all aligned. So you're going to start with the top left corner in the cutting track of your Stampin' Trimmer, okay? And then you're going to cut about halfway down this 5 1/4-inch side. Now, I just eyeball it. If you're really particular, you could measure. So half of 5 1/4 is what, just over 2.5. So you could do that, but I'm just going to sort of eyeball it, okay? And as long as all of the 3 are cut the same, it's not really a big deal, okay? So I'm just going to guess that's about half. Okay, so then you're going to just slice all the way through, okay? And then you can set this aside. Then we're going to rotate this so the bottom left corner is in the track, okay? Let me just line these up again. They're a little bit slippery. Okay, so the bottom left corner is in the track, and then I'm going to cut, sort of just rotate it till It's maybe around center or just to the right of center, okay? It doesn't have to be exact unless you want it to be. Okay, so I think that's a little bit right of center. So you're kind of creating some angles here. Okay, so then we have these two bundles. All right, so we can put our paper trimmer away. And this is basically what we cut, right? So our 5 1/4, whoa, 5 1/4 by 4, we cut into 3 separate piles, I guess you could say. Now, what we need to do is separate these because we want to have one of each shape in each pile. Okay, so let's start with the top and we'll move our way. Okay, so this will go on the top and then we'll have this on the side and this will be on the bottom. Okay, hope you can see this. This is kind of like a puzzle. Okay, and then we have our bottom piece. So this would go here. Hope I get this right. I apologize. It might take a bit of shuffling, but we'll be good. And then we'll put this one there. And then this one, this is the side. So this is actually going to go on the top. No, that's not right. Where does this one go? Might have got myself mixed up. We'll fix this one in a minute. Okay, and then we need this one here. So this is forming our card front. You see how that will all come together? Okay, and then this one, we are gonna put, oh, I think this is where is that where I made a mistake? Oh, I was hoping I wouldn't confuse myself. Okay, so we need this. No, that's not right. We have our base and we have our base. Okay, so those are all different. Then we need this piece here and this one on the top. Okay, there we go. So if you happen to get these mixed up, just play with them. You want to know you want one of each pattern in each pile. So then this one would go like this and like this. And that is going to make our 3 card fronts. Okay? Love it. All right, so I'm just going to move this one up a bit, these two, and we're going to start putting these on our base. Okay? Now, before I actually glue them down, I am just going to position them on the card base so I can get a feel for my spacing. Okay, so just sort of, because you want to have a little bit of that cardstock showing in between each layer. So you're just going to sort of line these up, leaving maybe about, I would say, it'll be about 1/8 of an inch, I think, around all sides. So something like that. All right. Okay. And then we can put these down. So I'm going to try to leave these in position so I don't mess it up. All right. So let's put this one down first. Okay. And I'm going to put this about 1/8 of an inch. If it's a little bit more, it's okay. Just sort of position your paper first. Okay, so we have that one. Okay, so then we'll put on our left panel. And this is going to go on the left side. So again, we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch, and there will be a little bit of a space between these two, and you kind of want this edge to line up. Okay, so we've got that one, and then we will have our last one here at the top. Okay, so just line up those edges and you can press down. So there's our first one. I don't know if you can see the little bit of the Secret C peeking through those different layers. Okay, so let's bring out our next one. So this makes 3 at once, which is awesome. And you know, I've done this technique before, but it's been a long time. I think I did this last, oh gosh, probably for a Christmas card, I think. And that was a few years ago. So it's definitely been a while since I have done this. And you can do this with any designer paper, okay? So like me, if you're anything like me, you probably have your fair share of designer paper in your stash. So this is a good way to use some of it up. And you get 3 cards at the same time, which is a bonus, I think. Okay, so then we'll put this one on the left. We're going to try to line up those edges as best we can. And if they're a little bit off, not to worry, because we are going to put those flowers on top of this little junction here where the seams all meet. So not to worry if you're a little bit off, as long as your outside edges look pretty lined up. I think you're doing great. Okay, this one was maybe a little bit crooked, but that's okay. So there's number 2. Okay, same paper, but it's a different design. Well, same design, different layout. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, and our last one, we're just gonna sort of place this here. Apologize for the shadows this morning. Okay, so I'll do it something like that. Oh my goodness, I have a frog in my throat. What's going on here? It's fine until I started talking. Okay, so there we go. And then this one. So have any of you made plans for spring break, or have you had spring break where you live? Ours, we have, this last week is our last week of school. My daughter is a teacher, so she's very much looking forward to the break. And they have some travel plans, which they're looking forward to. So the kids are there until Thursday this week. And then they are off until the Tuesday after Easter. So I know spring break isn't always the same depending on where you live. Ours is typically always the last week of March. So nice time. Everyone's ready for a little bit of a break. Okay, so that's how those turned out. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to add all of our flowers and our leaves. So this is where, if you're die cutting, there is a little bit of die cutting, okay, because you're cutting for 3 cards. Now, you don't have to do as many flowers or leaves as I did. You could do 1 flower if you wanted and cut it out, and, you know, maybe 2 sprigs of leaves then instead of 3. So I went a little maybe overboard on the flowers, but I really like how this turned out with the 3 of them. So I did a bunch of cutting ahead of time, so I'm just going to sort of sort that out. So let me get I'll do the greetings last, but let's get the flowers out. So I'll just set these up a little bit. Hopefully you can see. So I need 2 of the large. Now these I stamped with our stamp. Let me just show you where that is here. So here I stamped 2 of these on basic white with Secret C ink and 1 of these. Now that's per card. So for 3 cards, you need 6 of these and 3 of these. And then I did, from the dies, I didn't use the stamp. I used the actual standalone leaf die. So this one here. I used this and did 3 per card, so that would be 9 that you need to cut out. But like I said, if you don't want to do that many, you certainly don't have to. It's your choice. But I'll just show you what I did with these ones. So I have those 2, and then I have, whoops, 1 of each of these, and then my leaves. So I cut the leaves out of Old Olive. So, and hopefully I'm not short. Oh, I thought, oh no, I need to get 1 more. No, I need 1 more. And as I was designing, I kind of thought, okay, maybe just 2. And then I thought, oh, let's see what it would look like with 3. So then it became 3, and you know how it goes, right? Oh my gosh, that's what happens. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Hopefully that will help. Apologize for my raspy throat today. My goodness. Okay, so let's start with 1. And we're going to put our flowers on first. So I'm going to put them all on with some dimensionals. You don't have to. You could just lay them flat or just raise 1 or 2 of them. So this is where that little junction is, right? Where all of our sort of seams come together, and that will be covered with flowers. So I'm going to put 1 here of the larger ones, and then we'll put another large one beside and just over top of this. Okay, maybe down a little bit. And then the smaller one we will put in the front. Okay, so like so. Okay, so then let's do it on the second one. We'll add our leaves. Well, no, let's do our leaves as well, and then we'll do the greeting last. So the leaves, I'm just going to put down with adhesive, or you can use liquid glue, whatever your preference. Just be careful if you're using adhesive, because they're very delicate here on the stem, and they could tear and rip, but you could always just sort of piece them back together, because they are sort of tucked under these flowers, so nobody will really see. Okay, so let's do maybe 1 here. Bumping into a dimensional there. And you can spread the leaves out a teeny bit. And then we'll do this one. We'll do it kind of beside over here. Right, now this one I'm wondering, maybe I should put another dimensional under there. Didn't quite pop up like I thought it might. There, I should have stuck one right at the bottom. That looks a little better. Okay, so there you go. Now let's do the second one. So I'll put my leaves over here. Excuse me. And let's put on those flowers. Now, if you wanted to play around with placement, sure, just, you know, position them wherever you like and see how you like where they are. I just like how these kind of cover up this spot where they all come together. So then if you haven't, you know, got them exactly lined up, it's not a big to-do because they are covered. And if you wanted to put these flat, or like I said, some flat, some not so flat of your flowers, you could easily do that too. Okay, so let's put this one here. And then we'll add our leaves. Whoops. Do you get the backers of those dimensionals? You find them all over your house, right? Or they get stuck to your shoe. Oh my gosh, they are everywhere. And those little mini ones are, wow, those really can show up anywhere. All right, so let's put these ones under. Let's see. like so. It'll be out a little bit. And then this one will stick under here. Now, again, those dimensionals kind of can get in the way a little bit, but I just work around that. So there's our second one. And then our third, let's see how this goes. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. Do I prefer that, whoops, do I prefer the Secret Sea base or the basic white? I'm gonna have to put them side by side and you guys can let me know. I did initially look at putting Petal Pink as a base, but I felt this pink really blended in and it wasn't really my favorite, but you could always try that too. Maybe you like it a little bit better than I do. And then I thought of stamping the flowers in Petal Pink as well. And I don't know, they were just a little bit too light for me. Maybe I needed just to re-ink my ink pad, but I just felt, well, maybe I guess if I would have laid them on top, I could have really seen how they looked. But I just, the Secret Sea, I just thought really pops. And I really like how it looks with that designer paper. And this white flower in the designer paper is basically how your stamped image looks. So they almost kind of match, which is a bonus. All right. And then our last leaf, let's just pop this under here. Whoops, that dimensional again. Ah, don't stick, don't stick. So delicate, I don't want to rip it. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try this again. How about under here? There, that's a little bit better. Okay, so our flowers are on, leaves are on. Now we just have to put our greetings on. So, like I mentioned, there are some really nice greetings in here. Sending smiles, always here for you. Hello, friend, thank you, love you. Or you could puzzle these together. Thank you so very much. You are so lovely. Happy birthday, just a note. Or sending smiles, you are so lovely. Or sending smiles, happy birthday. Or some you could put on the inside of your card as well, right? Okay, so I thought, you know, I could do all the same, which you can, but I thought, let's switch this up. So I did a happy birthday, a just a note, and a sending smiles. So these I stamped with the Secret Sea. There's a die to cut this large one, and then there's a die for these smaller ones. So the sending smiles, now depending, this has a lot of blue on the bottom. These little ones, I thought, you know, they're a little bit lost. I mean, they work. They're quite pretty. But then I thought, what if we put them on, cut another one of these dies, but just out of the Secret Sea cardstock. And that gives it, you know, a little more of a pop. Okay, you don't have to, because, you know, when I put it on these colors, it's fine. I wouldn't put it on this one because it's too dark, okay? But these two you could, for sure, because you've got that sort of pink happening in the background. And this one I would just put by itself with the white. Now the question becomes, here I did put them on the Secret Sea, those smaller greetings. Now do I want to do that again? Or do I just want to leave it with these? Those look fine too. Or, oh my gosh, don't you almost not like when you have so many choices? this really makes it hard because you kind of like all of it. Now this one I might just put here, not on the blue. You know what? I think I'll just leave it like I did initially. But if I do it again, I might consider, you know, just leaving that by itself. I just don't want it to look like it's a little bit lost. So I think for this one I will. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you like the blue, the Secret Sea background on these small messages or not so much? You know, you have so many options, which is, it is wonderful, but it can be hard. But I guess the thing is, if you've got 3, you're making 3 at once, you can always, you know, switch it up on one of the other ones. They don't all have to be the same, like I said. Okay, okay, let's just do that before I confuse myself even more. So I'm just gonna cut these apart a little bit because they are on the edge of my dimensional piece here. So I'm still gonna use these edge pieces. This is just a little one, but it should still work. Okay, so just a note. I think we can overlap on that DSP a little bit. Did I do that straight? Not too bad. And then this one, we will put maybe just on that bottom panel so it doesn't blend into this Secret Sea here. Okay, I'll just maybe put it here on the bottom, like so. And this one I'm just gonna leave as white because we have that Secret Sea at the bottom. That panel is on the bottom on this one. So I think the blue would just be really lost. So you can kind of just tuck it over a little bit on the pink as well. Okay, so what do you think so far? We're getting there. Last thing is, of course, some bling. So I decided not to use those enamel dots. I just didn't know if this color palette was going to really, I mean, I didn't really want to add more Secret Sea, and I didn't want to put, I don't know. I just decided to go with some rhinestones. Okay, so I still had this older package with these little ones. And I'm just going to put these in the center of all of the flowers. Okay, put it on that little blue center. Okay, and then you'll need 3 per card, so 9 total. And that's just the thing to remember with this design. If you do decide, you know, to try this, which I hope you do, just remember you need to cut 3 of the flowers, or 3 of the leaves, or 3 of the greetings, okay? And your designer paper is 3 pieces, 3 different pieces, or you could just do 2 and do 1 with this particular paper, just white. And then instead of doing a greeting here, you could just stamp the greeting right on the white. So if the white was here, you could stamp it here, you could stamp it here, and you could stamp it here, depending on how you would position your flowers. So you could stamp right on top of it instead of doing a separate greeting like I did, but it's totally personal preference. Okay, so there we go. That is our Secret Sea background, and this is our basic white background. So I don't know, which do you prefer? Please leave me a comment in the comments when you watch this. I'd really like to know what you like. I like both of them. I don't know. There's something about this one for me that just makes the designer paper pop a little bit. And this one, I don't know. I like this too, though, so I can't decide. I think whoever would receive one of these would like it regardless. So you can definitely play around with it. And when it comes to cutting your card bases, nothing says you need 3 of the same color. Just, you could do one white base, one Secret Sea base, and maybe you would like the petal pink, or maybe you would want to try Old Olive, or just do 2 of one base and 1 of another. Just play. That's the joy of something like this, right? You have so many options that you can do. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that stack, cut, and shuffle technique. Give it a try, and with any designer paper. Like I said, I think the last time I did this particular technique was at Christmas, so you could definitely use lots of Christmas designer papers. You could do this for Easter if you wanted, with different Easter patterns, Halloween, Valentine's Day. You could just switch this up for any holiday, even for the fall. For Thanksgiving and beautiful fall projects, you could do this particular technique as well. So super, super versatile. So I hope you give it a try, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.